The Surface Laptop Studio is Microsoft's latest addition to the Surface lineup. I've used it daily over the past few weeks, and it's turned out to be one of the craziest additions to the showcase of tech products that have launched this year. Going forward, I see a lot of potential with something like this when it comes to content creation and even for students. You've got so much functionality in something that's not really that oversized, it's got a decent price, and it comes in with a weight of just under 4 pounds. Now, Microsoft is labeling this as their flagship laptop for Windows 11, which so far for me has worked absolutely fantastic. I really haven't had any issues, unlike AMD users out there that have experienced that drop in performance, especially when it comes to gaming. I know Microsoft did roll out an update today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it takes care of most of those bugs. Nonetheless, there's a ton of stuff I like about this laptop and a few things that I absolutely hate, which we'll cover in this video. Let's kick off with price. The Studio starts at $1599 and goes up to almost double that price for its fully spec'd model. For $1599, you get an 11th Gen i5 with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, which is expandable. For a few $100 more, you get the i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and a dedicated 3050 Ti graphics card, which I feel is the sweet spot for the Studio. This puts you in the perfect position for some content creation, editing, light gaming, all for $2,100. Anything more and you're really just upgrading the RAM and the storage on this laptop, so keep that in mind. For reference, the current spec I've been using is the $2,100 model that has been a nice breath of fresh air for me trying out something new with a different perspective as a creator. How exactly can this laptop increase my productivity and workflow was something on my mind since I first got my hands on it. I think design is always a key starting point. Microsoft has implemented this new sliding hinge display that's seamless and works amazing once you get used to it. It's as if they took a MacBook Pro and ran it through QBranch at MI6. You have an aluminum and magnesium case that comes in a platinum colorway for now, with a smaller lip that runs around the base of the laptop, making it seem as if it's floating when set on any surface. Now, it's a bit heavier than I'm used to. Typically, I'm using my Thinkpad X1 Nano that comes in at just under 2 pounds, and the M1 Macbook Pro that comes in at just under 3 pounds. This laptop is exactly 4 pounds with the dedicated GPU. Both of those other laptops don't have a dedicated GPU, which makes it a complete nightmare to edit A7S3 footage, 10-bit, 422, especially in Premiere Pro, which is why I've gravitated towards this laptop over the past few weeks. Once you lift the lid for the first time, you'll notice this is the hybrid MacBook Pro you never knew you needed. No speakers along the keyboard, similar matte silver look with thick bezels around the screen, and nice smooth plastic keys for the keyboard that feel amazing to work with. Now, the biggest impression this laptop's left on me over the past few weeks is its trackpad. I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. This has by far the smoothest and best trackpad I've ever used in a laptop. Even better than the MacBook Pros, which I feel like have been on top for years now. Apple's had that haptic technology. Finally seeing it on a Windows laptop, which is something you don't see very often, it's super exciting. Not to mention having a trackpad, less moving parts, less things that could go wrong, which makes this super exciting, especially for many years to come. Its display comes in at 14.4 inches and lifts like a normal laptop would. However, thanks to its fabric covered hinge, you have the option to fold it towards a 45-degree angle, which clips thanks to the magnets in front of the keyboard. This makes it great for photo editing and drawing that's made possible with the Surface Slim Pen 2 that's now available as an accessory. Now, if you'd like, you can go the old-fashioned route and use the super responsive display as a touchscreen as well. Not to mention you can spin this surface 360 degrees, so you can just see the display when you're watching movies, or even fold it all the way until it pretty much turns into a massive iPad Pro. The beauty in its design doesn't really stop there. You get this beautiful and colorful 14.4-inch display that sports a 120Hz refresh rate, which for me, once I go 120, it's hard to go back. It's much smoother and appealing to the eye, especially when it comes to gaming or editing with its stylus, which by the way, clips magnetically under the front chin for easy access and charging. Now, is this a hardcore gaming laptop? No, I wouldn't say it is, because for me, I'm a pro gamer, and even I don't game on a laptop. I mean, I game on my console and my desktop PC. But if you're into hardcore gaming, I'd probably recommend a Razer Blade 15 with 32 gigs of RAM and a 3080 in it. For this, any light gaming shouldn't be any issues. If you do have any, it's probably because of Windows 11, while some of its kinks are being worked out. Now, for brightness, the screen gets much brighter than most laptops. Somewhere around 500 nits would be an accurate estimate, which does put this above both the Dell XPS 15 and my M1 Macbook Pro for screen real estate. Using it daily in direct sunlight didn't give me any problems, and glare didn't seem to be much of an issue either. Sadly, like the M1 MacBook Pro, you only get a handful of ports, and no SD reader. You have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports on the left, with a headphone jack and charging port on the right, which resorts to you having to live that dongle life if you plan on using this as a workspace laptop and connecting it to another display. If you like traveling light, you are also able to charge this laptop through one of its dedicated USB Type-C ports, as long as you have a power supply that supports it. Now, audio, let's cover that next, because I feel like the M1 MacBook Pros have had the best audio out of any laptop and have put pretty much everything to shame. This laptop puts the M1 MacBook Pros to shame. It is absolutely disgusting. Look how loud it gets. Where is that even coming from? Like, it feels like there's some little guy, like a leprechaun, under the table, like drumming. bass is insane. How do you get this on a laptop? Yeah, no, absolutely amazing. 100%, 10 out of 10 for the audio. No issues with the webcam either. It works great for team meetings and anything else you'd plan on using it for that's webcam related. It's 1080p, which is pretty much standard, unless you're Apple. Performance is next, and we'll actually do an export in Premiere Pro for you guys on my last video here, where we did my new game room setup tour, which included a ton of transitions, cutscenes, color grading. It was as complex as you'd probably see for something like that. On top of that, it was Sony a7S III footage, 422 10-bit. The export was done with multiple different tabs and processes open, including recording this footage from OBS Studio at the same time on that laptop, and it didn't stutter once. The export finished somewhere around 31 minutes, whereas it only took 18 minutes with my 3080 Ti on my desktop. Now, I would like to mention that all these tests were done with the laptop plugged in, because if it's using battery power, you will notice a slight decrease in performance. It's not insane, but it's significant, especially when it came to Geekbench scores. For reference, when plugged in, we got these numbers for both the CPU and GPU benchmarks, in comparison to these much lower numbers when the test was ran on battery power only, which is actually pretty reasonable at this price point, especially when it comes to productivity work. For gaming, not so much as I mentioned previously. Now, another key spec you'll also notice is how fast the read and write speeds are for this laptop. It did average around a gig for both read and write, if not much higher at times, which pretty much blows away anything I've ever used. It's super helpful when transferring those massive file sizes, especially anything above 4K video quality. It also doesn't get that hot when you're doing any gaming or heavy workloads, which is also a plus. Battery life is amazing, for what I was doing at least. I got over 11 hours of heavy use, and that was doing everything and anything I could think of. This all depends on if you have an i5 or i7, but Microsoft is advertising that it can last up to 18 hours on a single charge. It also charges from 0 to 100 in about 2 hours, which is pretty quick for something like this. I mean, what else could you really want? It's well built, works well for creators, good for some light gaming, has a beautiful design and display, and makes sense, paired up with a great trackpad, fresh design, and amazing speakers. Probably in my top 3 favorite pieces of tech that have come out this year, and most likely my new favorite laptop, which might be short-lived. Apple's got that event today with the new M1 Macbook Pro, so we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think of the Surface Laptop Studio down below, where you'll also find links to everything that we covered in today's video. If you want to see more, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DetroitFury. And if you enjoyed this content, please make sure you smash that like button for me, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.